asa n'ọrụ onye ọbụla akpọrọ nwere ka o ji eme. I just let them
Hello everybody. Once again, this is Fred Wanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Island TV. As you can hear from my sniffling and my voice, I have a slight touch of cold. However, like I always start out, I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are around the world. Let's go straight to it. Folks, today, there's no point beating around the bush. We have to go straight to the point because there's a whole lot of things going on with Igbo, especially with the Nnamdi Kanu thing yesterday and the lackadaisical attitude of Igbo leaders across the board, and then the craziness that's going on with the guy in Finland. These things need to be straightened out because on one hand, we have the shame of not having the clout with all the red caps we wear, with all the political governorship positions we have, and with the business clout we think we have across the world. It's a shame that our son is languishing in jail on one hand, and another son, a fugitive in Finland, is running around and embarrassing everything Igbo and calling himself an Igbo leader that is fighting for Biafra. If you people think you have any clout, you should have enough clout to stop Simon Ekpa on one side and get Nnamdi Kanu out of jail on the other side. Okay, before you get into it, if you haven't shared the video yet, please share the video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you haven't liked, please like. And if you have comments, good or bad, please go to the comment section and tell us what you think. The goal here is to have 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. So you could subscribe for free. Or if you really want to help us grow and see us build, you could also subscribe by buying one of these Go Bold, Bold Talk on Island TV t-shirts. They are very durable. These are not cotton. These are wash and wear. I mean, these are just great material. You could buy one for $37.50. Yes, it's more or less fundraising to buy the equipment we need to be able to set up in a way where, I don't know if you've ever watched Mayegun. When you watch Mayegun, you could call in and talk to him. We also want to expand to the point where we have enough room to bring in guests into the studio to be part of our show. So we're counting on you. But in the meantime, this show today is about Nnamdi Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu, and Igbo leadership or lack thereof. And I want to compare our leaders and how they lead to northern leaders and how they lead.
Na Chicago ababa nekele akipa kwa kalio akario kwa kipa fana badia chano.
And now to the bane of this episode. Yesterday, the Supreme Court in Abuja, Nigeria, had judgment, yet another judgment on Nnamdi Kanu. Many were expecting him to be released yesterday. But not to the surprise of many also, the Supreme Court continues to play the games they've been playing, starting with Buhari and now with the Tinubu government. And why should we be surprised when you have a person that doesn't have sympathetic tribesmen to negotiate and work on his behalf? Well, let me start out this segment with one of my famous Ajostrum Shimajo moments. Can one of you, my viewers, either go to the comment section and tell me, or even privately inbox me, or call me on the phone and let me know if you have any evidence that Governor Alex Oti or Governor Soludo or Governor Mba or the governor, I don't know his name because he's still working in the shadow of Umahi, or Uzodinma, who is a stooge for the Fulani cabal, or Chief Ato Eze, or Chief Emeka Ofo, or the Obi of Onitsha, on behalf of all the Obis and Igwes and Ezes in an Igbo, can any one of you call me, inbox me, or go to the comment section and convince me that you've seen them make any vehement argument on Arise TV or Channels TV or TVC, or with a delegation to Asha Rock, or just to a mic stuck in their face at the airport? Has any of them ever stood up and argued to the point where they may be at the risk of being picked up by SSS or whoever? Why do I say that? Because that's how the northern leaders and clerics argue their case. And that's how the Yoruba leaders argue their case. Why can't these Igbo leaders stand up, and even the ones we trust, like Alex Oti? I trust him when it comes to governance, but he also has to protect his people. And then Nnamdi Kanu, of all the governors, is his people. Just a question. Ajostrum Shimajo. A Supreme Court of Law found him not guilty and ordered for him to be released, only to be continued to be held by the government. And no significant leader, be it political, be it business, be it traditional, has stood up and vehemently argued and made threats, legitimate threats, of what will happen if he's not released. But instead, they keep talking softly, being politically correct, while the young man rots away in detention. What I'd like these leaders to understand is that even me, who is making this plea on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu, have had my differences with Nnamdi Kanu's approach to the Igbo problem in Nigeria. But I also have always stood behind Nnamdi Kanu, knowing that Nnamdi Kanu's cause is the Igbo cause. Nnamdi Kanu's struggle is the Igbo struggle. We may differ in how we want to go about it, but at this stage, that's irrelevant. But it's also good to know that over the last few years that he's been locked up, the young man has also had time to reflect. And in that reflection, I truly believe that Nnamdi Kanu, when released, will be coming out with a more focused, more tactful way of dealing with his people, even the ones he disagrees with. Because in the end, it's not in a disagreement that our strength should be found. Our strength should be found in our resolution of the disagreement. That's what civilized people do. And before I go into addressing the issue with our leaders and their betrayal of Nnamdi Kanu, I'd like to play a soundbite from Dr. Usman Yusuf, a Fulani man, and the way he addresses an issue that concerns Fulanis compared to how Igbo leaders lukewarmly address the Nnamdi Kanu topic.
Within the last 6 years, more than 400 civilians have been killed in so-called accidental air raids. What are your thoughts about this incident? Because there have been conflicting reports about what happened, but unquestionably, lots of people have been killed and injured.
Yes. First of all is anger. It is St. Aquinas that said, he who is not angry when there is a just cause to be angry is immoral.
Igbo leaders, politically, traditionally, and business-wise, Igbo leaders must be immoral based on what this guy just said. Because whoever is not angry when there is a just cause to be angry is immoral. Holding Nnamdi Kanu in jail for no reason whatsoever is a just cause for everybody concerned to be angry. And if these leaders haven't shown the kind of anger you're going to see exhibited by this Fulani man, it tells you why Igbos are in trouble in Nigeria. It's not because of the Fulani man, it's not because of Tinubu, it's because of lack of leadership in Igbo land.
This is unacceptable. For a military, our military that is supposed to protect us, dropping ordnance and killing our people. They did it once there, they did it again. The international implication, Charles, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
The optics is not good. The Muslim clerics in the north came and sold this fraudulent Muslim ticket, and we have Muslim vice president, Muslim president. Our people in the north are saying, well, you are killing Muslims. You are inflicting a lot more pain on Muslims. Look at the operation of military hierarchy and look at their religion. They need to be very careful. The military needs to be very careful and start doing damage control fast. Meeting community leaders, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and stop issuing these annoying, stupid statements from DHQ. And they're saying no dialogue, no dialogue. Whoever says that doesn't know what he's talking about. Dialogue is a legitimate tool of warfare everywhere in the world. You must dialogue. Currently, as we speak, the governor of Borno State last week said there are over 160,000 Boko Haram, repentant Boko Haram. They didn't come because you go killing. By dialoguing and getting them, you have done one thing and you've gotten them off of the battlefield.
How many Igbo leaders, traditional leaders, business leaders, or political leaders have vehemently gone to Tinubu or previously Buhari to demand that dialogue is a part of bringing peace to a community, and you must dialogue with IPOB, and you must rehabilitate IPOB people and rehabilitate all those Midi destroyed youth that are in cults in Igbo land? Have our leaders gone and demanded rehabilitation and fixing these things? No, they're scared. They're scared of having their red caps taken away. They're scared of not being governors. You sell your soul for selfish interest, just like they sold Marcus Garvey for rice. Did you see the venom coming out of that guy? Did you see the fire coming through his eyes, symbolically? That's what a leader does when you do something to his people, his children, or his whatever affiliation they are. And that's not what you see in Igbo leaders when it concerns Nnamdi Kanu. And it's a pity, because if this is not handled well, the patience is running out. This could become what leads to the Arab Spring in southeast Nigeria. And when it happened in 1963 or whatever in western Nigeria, Nigerians saw it as a western Nigeria problem. But then it spilled across the country, and by the time you knew it, it was the 1966 coup, then the pogrom, then the civil war. Something is loading in Nigeria, and it is not good. And if what's loading ends up having Igbos as the primary victims, we should not blame Fulanis. We should not blame Tinubu. We should not blame anybody outside Igbo land. The fingers should be pointing at Igbo politicians, significant Igbo businessmen, and significant Igbo traditional rulers who are only happy to get what they can get from the federal government and the state governments, and in return they say, yes, Amasa, yes, Amasa. You are the traditional ruler, and you're saying yes, Amasa to the state governors, and yes, Amasa to Asharok. These rulers should be ashamed of themselves. As the grounds for not giving Nnamdi Kanu what he fully deserves, which is acquitted, no strings attached, a free man, period. They are trying to concoct different things that will give him freedom with limitations, which means they are setting him up to arrest him again. And the reason I bring this up is that I think this whole thing is coming to a head. This thing is in the hands of Igbo leaders, Igbo politicians, Igbo businessmen of significance, and none of them is saying anything. All they are giving is lip service. And let me just modify one thing there. Somebody I've highly criticized in the past, Chief Dan Olasi, is the one Igbo leader of significance that has come out categorically and spoke on the Nnamdi Kanu situation, and goes to court and goes to jail to visit him. The rest of the Igbo leaders, east, west, north, and south of Igbo, from Imo to Anambra to Ebonyi to Enugu to Abia, none of them has given anything more than lip service. And it's time for them to say where they stand on this Nnamdi Kanu thing, because it's going to lead, if not handled well, to the explosion of Igbo. And just as a soundbite, it's also important that at this stage, we start to separate the issue of Nnamdi Kanu's freedom and leadership of IPOB from the nutcase that lives in Finland. He's not, in my opinion, based on his shenanigans, he has nothing to do with the movement Nnamdi Kanu is carrying on. And Igbos need to separate themselves from anything that has to do with Simon Ekpa. The discussion of Nnamdi Kanu should not relate to Simon Ekpa in any form at all. And if I'm wrong, I'd like to hear Nnamdi Kanu or Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers tell me that I'm wrong, and I'll withdraw that statement. But from what I observed over the last year, Nnamdi Kanu has nothing to do with Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa is using Nnamdi Kanu's name and Nnamdi Kanu's position to extort people and lie that he's doing things in the interest of Igbo. So Nnamdi Kanu was denied again. From all indications, he's not going to be home with his loved ones for Christmas. In the meantime, Governor Alex Oti of Abia State, Governor Soludo of Anambra State, Governor Mba of Enugu State, the young man who plays boy for Umahi in Ebonyi State, and the stooge that the cabal put in Imo, Governor Uzodimma. All these governors that lead the 5 Igbo states, one of them, Abia, which is Nnamdi Kanu's state, are going to enjoy a beautiful Christmas with their families. And what kind of conscience, in what kind of conscience can they relax on Christmas Day while Nnamdi Kanu remains in jail? In similar situations in the North, the politicians, the business leaders, the clerics, and all of them did what it takes, continue to do what it takes to protect the Fulani herdsmen and protect Boko Haram members. Everything Nnamdi Kanu stands for, regardless of how he says it, is representative of the Igbo position and the Igbo cause in Nigeria. Whether you're saying it in your bedrooms or you're saying it publicly to be heard. And what good are these governors as governors if they cannot, one, protect their region, which is unprotected, unknown gunmen, kidnappers, and all kinds of thugs are running rampant, and our people's lives are in danger on a daily basis, and they call themselves leaders. And then to the business leaders, Chief Atoeze, Chief Emeka Ofo, not shown here in the picture, which I should have, Chief Iwuanyanwu. What good are you as well-connected Igbo people that are connected to people in high places, but you cannot plead on behalf of an Igbo favorite son? And you're gonna go home on Christmas Day and relax and speak big English on the mic while Nnamdi Kanu rots in jail. It's shameful. And to our traditional rulers who in this chart I represent with the picture of Obi of Onitsha. And I'll speak directly to the Obi of Onitsha, but indirectly through him, I'm speaking to all the Ndi Chile Chichi na Igbo. What good are you on the throne if you cannot put your throne on the line to defend Ifegbasa and Igbo? You are not just the Obi of Onitsha. According to the traditional books in Nigeria as it relates to the Southeast, you are the epitome of traditional rulership in an Igbo. That you do your ofala and have all the fanfare does not represent the interest of Ndi Igbo. Your ofala represents Ifenda Onitsha Neme. Every town in Igbo land can do their own ofala, and they do, or they are Ewaji or Eligi or whatever they do that's a big symbolic thing to bring the people together, and the chief of the town or the Obi or the Igwe of the town comes out to be the pivot point for that celebration. But that's not what Igbo is all about. That's what Igbo is all about in times of peace and celebration and festivities. These are not days for celebration. What's going on with Nnamdi Kanu and what's going on in Igbo does not call for Ofala celebration and Iliji celebration and Ewaji celebration and all those vain things that we do in Igbo land. Which is why every Tom, Dick, and Harry in every part of Igbo land in Nigeria, in the United States, in United Kingdom, China, wherever they are, want to run home and put on a red cap. What good is the red cap if the red cap cannot work for Ndi Igbo? The priority of Ndi Igbo today at every level should be to bring Nnamdi Kanu out of jail. Every Igbo man that goes to Asher Rock, before they talk about anything they went there for, the main thing on the table should be a discussion about Nnamdi Kanu and when is Nnamdi Kanu coming out, and not coming out on their terms, coming out without any strings attached. For the businessmen, Chief Atoeze, Chief Emeka, Chief Iwu, and the multitude of you who are very wealthy, I think it's time to search your soul. I think it's time to ask yourself, what legacy do you really want to leave? 100 is a stretch for any of you. I don't see any of us living till 100, but let's say we do. What legacy do you want to leave? That you were a very wealthy man that couldn't do any meaningful thing for your region and for your people? Or that you're a very wealthy man that did everything at every opportunity to make sure that you protect the interests of your people? These are questions. Much of it are rhetoric questions. I don't need answers. I'm a lowly peon person. You're not going to speak to a person like me. But I hope that somehow, somewhere, that somebody shares this video to a place where it gets to every one of you. Because it's time to address two significant things in an Igbo. One is Nnamdi Kanu, the other one is Simon Ekpa. And as long as Nnamdi Kanu continues to languish in jail, and Simon Ekpa continues to parade himself as something that is representative of Ifendi Igbo, we have serious problems. And on that note, I'd like to say, as usual, this is Fred Nwanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Island TV. And once again, good night and God bless. But before I do that, let me end on this note. It's something that really gives me joy. Two clowns in politics in two different ends of the world. One in America, one in Nigeria. One called America's mayor, the other one called Nigeria's governor. Very deceptive, and in the end, their true self came out. And let a graphic that follows shows you how their lives will end and how they will be remembered. The man in New York has already been given judgment. The judgment is coming soon for the man in Nigeria. Good night and God bless. America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani, and Nigeria's governor, Nyesom Wike.
Ndababa
Anyị je kelee ndị nwe egwu.
Ndababa Ndababa
Ndị kara ka mọ nkiri ye.
Ndị kara aka Anajari shugaba mno tulaji
Owe hụrụ asa nọ. Onye ọbụla akpọrọ nwere ego oji eme.
Ndababa
Anyị je kelee ndị nwe egwu.
Ndababa Ndababa
Ndị kara ka mọ nkiri ye.
Ndị kara aka Anajari shugaba mno tulaji